North America. It's going to be Hammers Esports taking on Rogue. We're already started things off. No Maline going to come out this time. We will only get one Maline game here today. But it is going to be Scarf, Samuel, and the Kestrel coming on through as our first three picks.
Interesting stuff, for sure. I love the Samuel-Kestrel combination out of Rogue. That really enables them to try and play at range, make sure that they are kiting back at all times. It's a ton of early game pressure. It's a ton of early game damage that if Hammers misplays even just once, they can absolutely just snowball away with the rest of this game and punish Hammers for it.
Not only that, but just the early game pressure that can come out from both of them. And then if you go that Crystal route on Kestrel, if these are both Crystal, there is so much AoE involved with this team. I would not be surprised if they try and go for something like a Churnwalker as their captain just to help with that AoE damage spread even further.
Tony is still on the board. If Hammers does not take Tony out of the equation right here, that's going to be a super strong option for Rogue. I actually love the Churnwalker ban. Like you said, I actually think Churnwalker genuinely would have been stronger than Tony in this situation. Hammers realizing that, recognizing that, taking Churn out of the equation. Rogue actually went for the Idris. I think that they're confident enough that Hammers are not going to pick up a Tony-Lyra duo. They definitely could. We've seen teams do it running one in the support role or the Lyra in the carry role. But yeah, definitely safe drafting out of them for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with the Idris pick, it's very likely that the Idris is going to be the one going Crystal. And now, because they couldn't get that Churnwalker, they say, okay, we're fine running this Kestrel as a weapon Kestrel. Just go for that single target, try and delete people in lane, win that 1v1 matchup, shove down turrets extremely effectively. It's something that Kestrel definitely has that flexibility and versatility to be able to do. On the other side, we see that Glaive coming through again, and then the Arden to follow up with a Lyra already on the board. Is this going to be that carry Arden?
Definitely could be. We have seen carry Lyra. This might be the first time we're seeing carry Arden. Rogue, though, going for the Jewel, which is very interesting. They've definitely saved their captain for last pick. We saw that definitely earlier in Europe as well. That is something that can also sit in these backlines and do a ton of damage from distance.
There's also the fact that a lot of the damage coming out of Hammers is directional, so she can get herself positioned in such a way that she always has that front-facing armor soaking up a lot of that damage. I actually really like the Jewel pick. I think it's a very fun pick to play. We'll see how effective it can be here. You know, I do want to say, though, we did see a carry Arden at one point, a pseudo carry Arden, I'll say. You know, went for the Aftershock and then defensive items. Didn't work out that well. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more damage, a little bit more offensive-oriented Arden. I would love to see the Weapon Arden come out finally. I'm still super big on Weapon Arden, even on, especially on 5v5, but who knows? It could end up being, as you mentioned, the carry Lyra as well. Plenty of options available to Hammers.
I definitely think it's viable. A couple patches ago, we saw the increased range on his Blood for Blood. We saw the extra damage in Blood for Blood as well. He has the damage. This is a very utility-heavy based comp.
This is Protect the Scarf comp.
That is exactly what it is. But because Rogue has all these different range damages from so many different positions, that's going to be something hard for them to deal with. They're going to round out their composition with the Captain Lorelei.
I mean, they really didn't have many other options for a captain. You could have gone Fortress or Grace, but aside from that, you know, Tony, Arden, and Lyra all picked, and then Catherine being banned. Hammers were really trying to squeeze that captain hero pool this game.
Absolutely. They are so tanky. They are going to be able to absorb a lot of that backline damage that Rogue has, but the question is, can Hammers even match the damage with Scarf in and of itself? Time's going to tell.
Yeah, we'll get to our players to watch for this game. Starting off for me, I'm going to be watching on Hammers Papa John. He made his first appearance last week in their final game, and he has been the only player in any of Hammers Esports games to have a positive KD ratio. The only one. No one else on this team has had a positive KD through any of their first games. So really, you know, kind of the shining bright spot for them last week. Hopefully he can continue to step up and perform at the top level for this team because they need a few things to go right.
You could definitely say that he delivered on the other side of Rogue. JFMAMJJASOND. doing work here in this preseason. Jason, for short, all the months of the year. He has been absolutely phenomenal in the games that they've done well. He knows how to frontline really well, making sure he's absorbing a lot of the damage for his team. He needs to step it up, though. He has struggled against some of these higher tier teams. If he can kind of make sure he's on the same page with his carries at all points in time, he will definitely do wonders on this Rogue roster.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about, the Rogue having different kind of positions for the team, especially Evol switching to mid lane, picking up different players. This is just what they felt like would work best for them, and moving forward what they wanted to do. And these new players joining the roster, like JFAM having to come on in, are going to be needing to make an impact. We'll see if they can make an impact as we head on to Sovereign's Rise right now with Humanist and Denomine.
Thank you very much, Tasty Bacon. Once again, you guys holding it down on the desk. You're doing a wonderful job. You're beautiful people. But we're into the game, so we can't continue to just praise you because we've got hammers up against Rogue. I'm Humanist. I'm with Denomine here. And Noms, how are you liking these drafts?
I definitely think the draft phase was a little bit different here from both sides. I'm interested to see after we figure out if Tsunami survives or not, which she's going to.
Survived. Confirmed.
Confirmed. I'm interested to see Evol in the mid lane on the Kestrel. We've seen him play a lot of Celeste in the mid lane. Kestrel a little bit different, also received a couple nerfs this patch on the base damage and the crystal ratio, so will be a little bit more difficult for Evol to effectively clear the lane, but still should have a pretty fair amount of damage in the team fights.
These teams effectively running an exactly mirrored strategy as far as invading and taking some jungle away. Now, Sibs potentially caught out here. Sibs taking a lot of damage. Sibs, you're in a bad place, and he's going to go down. Not the kind of thing you'd expect from a wizard.
Not the kind of thing you'd expect from a wizard, but he will be playing the Crystal Idris in the jungle, it appears, this time around. Obviously, last game with the Salamanders, we did see it go back into the lane, but we know that the Idris has been very popular in the jungle as well, so no need to buy that early Book of Eulogies. Can save you a little bit of money, can get your Divergent Path online a little bit sooner, and that can give you a little bit more impact. Plus, not being locked down to a specific lane, you can use that range and high chakra burst damage to make effective ranged ganks in the outer lanes.
Jason being annoying with that fish food, stopping the backs here from Benzo and BlueStacks. They will eventually be able to pour it out and pick up some items and move back into the lane. Once again, we do see Benzo picking up Minion Candy. Minion Candy, price reduced just a little bit here in 3.2.
Yeah, reduced a little bit. And I would say for a majority of the laners, if you're at all in a rough matchup where you think you're going to be pushed, pick up that Minion Candy. If it saves your turret, that little bit of gold was more than worth it.
Sibs with a healing flask. Will it be enough? No, it will not be. Sibs getting torn apart here in the early game.
Yeah, it has looked to be the case, and we saw Idris with a huge impact in the past couple weeks, but that's because he's been able to get ahead early on. Hasn't had that chance yet, but now with the 5 crystal bits, he has that Divergent Path online. This is where he can start to farm a little bit safer and as well kind of present himself to make those ganks, so we'll have to see if he's able to capitalize on that. In the top lane, we do have a little bit of an interesting matchup. So Louis Vuitton, obviously very tanky here on the Jewel, able to soak up a lot of damage that Drunami is going to be able to put out thanks to that heavy plating. But Drunami has that self-sustaining with the healing from the Imperial Sigil. I kind of feel like top lane is going to be a little bit of a stalemate until Jewel starts to get a couple items online.
Well, let's talk about Jewel as well in 3.2. The piercing on Thunderstrike. Well, actually, Starboy getting gone on. We'll hold that thought. He does have Afterburn. I don't think Rogue are going to accomplish too much down here. But the pierce on Thunderstrike going from 5 to 10% to start off and scaling, instead of 5 to 10, it's scaling 10 to 15. So I think that's actually a pretty big boost on that Jewel.
It definitely is a big boost, especially since Jewel's common build is going to be going very crit heavy.
And now have me with a little damage coming on through Rogue. If you're not able to get a kill, okay, they're able to get the kill. Jason moves in like he's going to take the crystal buff there. He'll give it over to Sibs, baiting Sibs a little bit. Louis Vuitton done with the Thunderstrike. Rocket Leap from into the bush there. He'll thwart the aggression onto the Crystal Treant there. There is a scout cam down. Noms, I don't know if Benzo and BlueStacks are really going to get in there and try to really play with fire here. Evil moves over. He's got that healing flask. He can zone with Glimmer Shot. This should go the way of Rogue.
Yeah, it definitely should go the way of Rogue. In fact, it is definitely going the way of Rogue. And now Louis Vuitton may be looking to rotate up. Haven't seen Drunami move in a while. Not sure what's going on there, so we'll have to see. But that's going to give Louis Vuitton, there he is. It's going to give Louis Vuitton the time to clean out some farms safely. He's a little bit ahead on experience and gold at this point. You see the 29 CS to the 20 of the Lyra. So Louis Vuitton might be starting to take that edge in that top lane that we thought was going to be a little bit of a stalemate.
Starboy having a rough time in the first 5 minutes of this game. His tier 1 turret is down. He was in a 2v1 situation, sometimes 3v1, and really not much this Glaive could do on the back foot. What are the power spikes we're looking for this Glaive?
For the Glaive, he's probably going to go Poison Shiv, Breaking Point in his first couple items. It is a very sustainable build, but it doesn't provide a lot of early game aggression, so that is something to watch out for. Drunami is able to clear out his farm here up top, but sitting level down, Jewel has the big red button available. For Starboy, the idea is that he's going to be able to get in and misposition Evol or Jesus on the Samuel to make it so that they're now going to be positioned to that front line. The only melee hero for the side of Rogue is this Jewel, and if she's taking damage and is forced to turn around, that's when Hammers can really start to execute on that weakness of only having one frontline hero. Because Jason is Lorelei, he's a little bit ranged, it is going to be a little bit difficult for him to body block any sort of damage for the Jewel, and that's where Louis Vuitton is going to meet a little bit of a choice. If he's not at full health, some of these engagements may be a little bit difficult for him to make.
You used a lot of words there, but what I heard in different ways was this seems hard to execute for Hammers.
It really does. It kind of relies on Starboy getting that initial afterburn and putting either Evol or Jesus or Sibs in a really bad situation where, again, these mages are building very, very heavily into the crystal damage and not going much into defense, at least early on. If you can position one of those mages in front of a Scarf, that's where BlueStacks is going to be able to excel and actually get some good damage down. Drunami, the Lyra, while it can have some decent individual damage, kind of struggles in the team fights later on.
Drunami Arcane Passages over the wall to try and contest the healing treant. Louis Vuitton down, still able to secure that up. So swing and a miss on that one. Down at the bottom, Jesus trading with Starboy. Starboy starting to get a bit of an advantage there, but now the 3 versus 1 situation. Shotgun will connect. Healing Flask will come out. BlueStacks has made the rotation down. Benzo as well. Now Starboy's maybe going to look for a target. In fact, feels like Rogue now in a vulnerable position. He's going to afterburn Sibs away. What a good pal Starboy is. Trash talk off the mark. Get better, bud. And now if Rogue want to chase back into this, it feels much more dangerous. You see the mortal wounds coming out on multiple targets there.
Yeah, it definitely does, and that's been a key item for a lot of mages in the most recent updates. See Hammers making a push down on this bottom objective, though.
Yeah, Starboy with that Sorrow Blade first means like he can just pump out some damage like that, but Rogue are not going to let this go down for free. They flex up Sibs, Jason, and Jesus down here, and that's really not something that Hammers want to mess with just yet. They'd rather pick someone off.
Right, and I do think it's a little bit interesting that Starboy has gone with the Sorrow Blade first. It does provide a lot more upfront damage than the common Poison Shiv Breaking Point build, and I like it. What I don't think is favorable for Hammers is that Ghost Wing going over and now probably losing out on Benzo.
Benzo most likely going to go down. Look at the jukes, though. This guy going to the NFL next year, potentially. Juke him again! Can't juke the corrupted genius. You got played.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a second kill on the board for the side of Rogue, so that's 2-2 now. But Rogue, they have taken down 2 turrets on the side of Hammers, and they are looking to push this mid lane into a third one if they can.
And look at the meantime, Drunami's been up in top lane for like 10 minutes. I know the game's only been going on for 9, but he finally takes that turret down after hammering on it. for pretty much the whole duration of that last skirmish. In the meantime, Rogue tearing on through this T2 turret here in mid. And you see the damage from this Ghostwing buff. It's significant when they're all clumped up now. A little trash talk here in the mid lane. Benzo, Vanguard, onto BlueStacks. BlueStacks trying to apply some damage, but getting met with some glimmers coming right back the other way. Evil sitting in that active camo, trying to bait someone right back into it. I don't think they're going to fall for that too easily, though.
No, absolutely not. And if you're Hammers, you have to be cautious trying to chase down enemies. Even if one is low on health and you think you can come in and pick up that kill.
Papa John, who's trying to get something done, but the Rocket Leap in from Louis Vuitton dissuading the aggression there. Now he moves in, Thunderstrike going to town, showing him what 3.2 is all about. And not finding a kill there, but a big red button, a true red button coming on through from downtown. Not able to secure any kills. A lot of damage. The damage spread out across pretty much the entire team here. Let's see. Hammers, do you want to heal up? And the thing is, if they heal up as well, this turret's vulnerable. It's just going to get melted down. So they're going to hang around. The BlueStacks taking a lot of damage. Defensive gauntlet comes down. Jesus able to block it off. They turn around. They take one. They take two. Louis Vuitton Dong will hop onto his corpse, showing some bad manners, boosted manners. Starboy, show me what it's all about. Goes in for the afterburn, not able to secure the kill, now left in a vulnerable position. Ella giggled by the arcade passage. Drew Nami, a tsunami of no's for his team. Is Rogue able to take down 4? Probably take down the turret as well. They'll take whatever they want at this point.
Yeah, that fight started off not only at a handicap for the side of Hammers, they were down a player for a little bit there. They did exactly what I was trying to explain just before the fight broke out, was if you're chasing a target no matter how low, you have to make sure you have vision so that your team does not walk into an active camo. Sure enough, we saw a big 2-person stun coming out of Evol, 560 damage spike coming through from the active camo, and that's just not something you want to set yourself in the position of if you are the side of Hammers, and they need to get some vision control. Benzo needs to get a flare gun as well as probably a super scout, realistically, if they don't want Evol to just have free reign over the game.
Jesus blocks the afterburn, trash talk off the mark. Oblivion comes out, but the Crucible from Benzo will block it off. Suddenly Rogue have flipped this around. They regoose from the backside. Star Boy getting played with like a star toy. And now it's Arden left for dead here. 4 members of Rogue. Benzo can only walk. Oh no, he can run. Look at him. He's got some boots. And BlueStacks will go ahead and provide a little bit of cover as he gets himself out. But guess what? Ghostwing is up, and Rogue are going to be happy to take this objective here.
Ghostwing is up.
What? That was good.
Oh man, BlueStacks gets sniped out by Evol there as the side of Rogue. They go ahead and take that Ghostwing. The whole time was Louis Vuitton up in the top lane. He's gone with a little bit of an alternative build, but he was able to push that top lane in, get an objective, and now they've started up the Black Claw. And with the Black Claw pushing mid and the remains of this Ghostwing buff, they may be able to just close this one out here, you missed.
They can do whatever they want at this point. Hammers, it feels like food. Rogue happy to play with their food at this point. And Tsunami just getting chunked down to sub 25% health from like one shot coming on through. Now Black Claw marches on down the mid lane. Rogue doing whatever they want. They can play this a little bit slow, wait for an opening, using a big red button because, hey man, you got it. That's one of the things that, like, when you're playing like a weapon duel, you're just like, god damn it, I gotta use this occasionally. Oh, BlueStacks gets crit on down. Who's gonna be next? Looks like it's gonna be Benzo, potentially. Oh, the splash damage coming on through. Rogue terrorizing Hammers. There's gonna be nightmares about this. Don't go to sleep tonight, Hammers fan. This is gonna be a rough one for you guys. Rogue look like they're gonna take this down in under 14 minutes. Just stop the healing platform. Do it. Evol getting knocked back. Papa John makes a good pizza, but not able to put it together against Rogue here today, as Rogue just pretty much put Hammers in the dumpster and shut the lid.
Yeah, they absolutely did. At all points of this game, it felt like Rogue made the better rotations and had the better positioning in team fights. And time after time, we saw Evol get multiple members of the Hammers stunned up on an active camo and basically obliterated them off of Sovereign's Rise in a matter of a second.
Matter of seconds, man. This game is almost shorter than the